Bienvenue au Festival Éducation du futur édition virtuelle.
Welcome to the virtual Future Education Festival.
Cette année encore, Fusion Jeunesse est fière de vous présenter des projets réalisés par des jeunes extraordinaires avec le soutien de leurs coordonnateurs engagés.
A year during which everything seemed to move around us in a strange way. A year during which students showed us once again their strength, their extraordinary capacity for innovation, and their desire to get involved in stimulating projects.
Une année pas comme les autres où tous et chacun ont dû se réinventer. Une année où on a dû faire preuve de créativité, de curiosité intellectuelle, d'adaptation, de savoir-faire et d'ingéniosité pour faire face à cette crise.
This year, Youth Fusion is proud to have been able to offer hybrid programs, in person and remote, based on the best practices in technopedagogy to better meet the emerging needs of schools.
Nous vous invitons donc à découvrir l'univers tout en mouvement de Fusion Jeunesse version 2021.
But before discovering more about leadership, healthy living, and community building,
nous laissons la parole à M. Gabriel Brand-Lopez, président fondateur de Fusion Jeunesse et cofondateur de Robotique First Québec, pour une annonce bien spéciale.
Have a great time.
Hello everyone, and hello to all the Youth Fusion participants in the Leadership, Healthy Living and Community Engagement program. I'm so happy to be here with you. I'm Gabriel, the president and founder of Youth Fusion. It has been such a long and intense year, but despite the pandemic, you have been engaged, committed, creative, and resilient. And I just want to say how proud we are. And I'll end with two things. The first is, don't forget that you are changing the world and that you will change the world for the better. And the second is, if you need help or support to make your projects better or bigger, let us know, and if Youth Fusion can help, we will help. In the meantime, enjoy the festival. It is your festival, and we are here to make all your projects shine. Congratulations, we are proud of you. Take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Okay, my name is Angela Ottariz. I'm a Cree from Waskaganish in the Journeys program. I'm a single mom of 6 kids. I have five of them here with me in Montreal.
So basically, the first thing that I want to get you to think about is like, what does a safe space like mean to you? You know, as like Angela Ottariz, what does a safe space look like to you?
Like I've only been to the college once since I've started. I went there for like one English class, and I spent my time at I think it was the First Nations Lounge or something. Yeah, I stayed there for my other class. So like it was okay going there and stuff. It's just like, I know the pandemic happening, there wasn't a lot of us there. I think there was like 4 of us there. So we were only allowed 4 people at a time. So like, I like being surrounded by people that like who are Indigenous, you know, like I like being around like my people. And not that I don't like other people, it's just that I feel better when I'm around like other Indigenous people, you know, and just to have that space where we can be together, like I'd even like would like a place where I could just be alone, you know, like and not be surrounded by other people. Because when you're around people, you tend to like chit chat, and like sometimes I just want to be alone, like be able to do my assignments like between classes. Because at home, you know, like I have 5 kids here. And once they're home, like I have to take off my student hat put on my mom hat, and as soon as they're asleep, I have to. That's when I put my student hat back on and do my assignments and my readings and stuff. Like, if there was a place where you can actually just work alone, that would be really good. Especially for me.
That's awesome. And like one thing, like, and that's one very unique thing that you have is that you started school in a pandemic. Like you talked about it briefly before when you were having your smoke and a pancake, right? Was you're like, I started like within the first week of like virtual like learning, like shit went downhill fast. And it like being in a pandemic, it can go like it gets stressful, just to put it simply. Like it gets stressful. There's no spot for you to distinguish where's your study area, you know, where you can relax, you know, like there's one thing, like we spoke to a student before and she doesn't have kids. She's young, you know, she doesn't have like her responsibilities are limited, right? But even then she has trouble. She's like, I just want to make sure my bed is for my bed. You know, I don't want to have to be doing assignments in my bed. I want to be able to keep it as a relaxed state of mind area, you know? And then online schooling really disrupts that. And especially like the whole classroom dynamic right now with virtual online learning, it's whack. It's so whack. So like, how has learning online affected your safe spaces in your home that you've created for yourself?
It's kind of like taking space in my craft room, like because I have like a desk downstairs. It's for my beading and my sewing, you know, it's my personal space where I occupy when I need to de-stress, you know, but it's now become my schooling desk, you know, like my virtual learning desk, you know, like and all my other stuff has just been like pushed to the side, you know, like I had my space to relax, to bead, and now my laptop is there, my printers there, my books are right there, and there's no space like anywhere else to like put another desk, you know what I mean? Yeah, like because I really don't want to like my bed. I don't want to do online classes from my bed. My bedroom is for sleeping, you know, like once I want to go into bed, I'm gonna stay in bed, you know. I'm not gonna want to do anything. So just having that space for online schooling would be good, like a separate space, but I don't have room. Like I have like even my girls, they have their bedroom and there's a desk in their room because their schooling was hybrid. They would be online one day and the next day they'd have to go to the school. So like I don't have space for online schooling at home. I'm not gonna do it on my kitchen table, you know.
Like that's one thing that schools don't really take into consideration is that there's limited space in homes, you know. So we were talking about online classes, like totally like interrupting our daily living space, you know, like coming in and forcing us to like take apart our safe spaces in our homes already created for us, right? So like, how do you think that us, like Youth Fusion, and that the Indigenous Resource Centers at the CEGIP, so like at Dawson, the First People Center, and how your teachers, how can we create or help you and support you in creating a safe space for your learning environment? How can we make that like a healthy process for you?
Like I don't mind going to class. I really don't mind going to the college for classes or even like part-time. I wouldn't mind at all. Like I can't say what I need because like I haven't been able to use like much of the services that are available there. You know, I don't know what's there. I don't know what's available. And like I've kind of just been winging it since I started, you know, like okay, get a laptop, get internet, buy a printer, yeah. the pandemic has really made things really difficult. Like even myself, like I couldn't even go to the college and pick up my books, because like I couldn't really go out in public. So they had to like mail my books to me because I couldn't go pick them up. So that created like a delay. Like when I got my books, I had like 5 chapters to read. Yeah, it's been difficult. Like one of the teachers was okay. She put like the first 2 chapters of the reading in Moodle. And then after that, she stopped. I really had to get the book, but I still didn't have the book. So I was trying to follow along with the class without the book and just winging it, Yeah.
Yeah, and especially like jumping into CJIP, not knowing what to expect because it's a pandemic and it's the first time anybody's ever dealt with any of this, right? Like even the teachers don't know how to deal with it properly. Like they're trying their best. So it's so super difficult to be able to communicate with teachers and with like staff and everything like that, the stuff you need, because you're not even sure what you need and you're not even sure what the teachers can do for you. Right. So that's the whole point. Like I think personally, this is me taking off my youth fusion and going to Gahinyanta, but like a safe space is where you're able to say what you need and what you want without feeling like you're a hindrance, like you're able to say, I need more support in this right now. And then people will be like, okay, we understand completely. And we know the background you're coming from. We understand the struggles that you're feeling. Like you're able to read your energy and your vibe, read the room and be like, okay, she really needs our support right now. And we have the ability to support her. And that's one thing that's missing in a lot of the CJIPs is that they don't have the ability to sustain a safe space for Indigenous people. And that comes down to having Indigenous teachers, having Indigenous coordinators. We're really lucky at Dawson and just at John Abbott, we just got, Indigenous coordinators for the center. That's a huge thing, such a huge thing to have because it creates community. Like you were saying before, is like, it's so important to have Indigenous people around you because it's what makes you feel like you belong. And then when you feel happy where you belong with the community, that's where you're able to be as efficient as possible, right? Like when you're able to feel like you're getting work done, like you feel like you're a bad bitch, right? Like that's when you're at your peak, is when you feel like you're comfortable. So, and the pandemic has taken this away. That's why I keep saying, and everybody relates, is like, I can't wait till I can see people in person again. Like I can't wait to have those heavy native laughs with like you guys in the center again and be able to tell those jokes in person. It's just not the same in like a virtual classroom. And I'm sure you've had experiences with that too, where you're like, I just miss like the human connection.
It's kind of weird because we're in this 1-year journeys program, like trying to connect with the students, my classmates, like we have this group chat on WhatsApp, and then we have another group chat on Facebook. And the thing is, none of us met. Only a few of us are actually in Montreal, and the rest are like in their communities. So next semester, I think a few of them are coming back at Dawson. And I don't know about the rest. So next semester, like if the college opens up, we're gonna be in different programs. All of us are gonna be in different programs. Yeah, so we won't actually, like, we missed a chance to actually meet, create that bond. But yeah, thinking about it makes me sad because a lot of us like are going our different ways. Like I'm going into Law Society and Justice. 2 of them are going into that recreational leader, what is it called? Community recreation leadership, something. And 2 of them are going into like social science, I think. So that the pandemic has like taken away that opportunity for us to like meet and be closer, because it's not the same, like yeah, we have our group chat, we talk a lot, but we haven't really met. Like we know each other from other communities, but yeah, it's totally different.
It is, because like you're able to fully connect with someone once you're able to be there in their presence. Like you're able to feel their vibe. You can't feel their vibe fully over a virtual chat. Like that doesn't make sense. It's not how us native peeps work, like we got to sit in a room and scope you out, So, but with the Indigenous Center, it's open now, even though it's limited spots, you're still able to go. I'm planning on going. So if I'll tell you when I'm planning on going, so we can go at the same time. So we could see each other and laugh and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just it's so difficult. It is. And it's like, we can say it as many times as we want. And it's like, it sucks even more, because like, is they gonna fix anything? No, we just got to keep waiting. But like, we're getting impatient now. Like, so with the vaccines around, hopefully it starts working out. And if people start listening more to quarantine measures, hopefully it'll work out. But let's see. Oh, with your kitties, how were they taking online school, and how was it like helping them do online school? Like that must have been a whole.
Well, in the beginning, they didn't attend school at all because it wasn't ideal for any of us to like leave the home and be exposed, because like my immune system was like really low. I was in chemo and radiation. So like I decided to keep them at home. And then after treatment, after the holidays, I was like, okay, I'm done my treatment. I'm okay now. Like maybe you guys should go to school. So the twins started, well, the older ones, they're like 15. They started hybrid right away. They were struggling to keep up, catch up actually. But they got tutors from McGill, I think. So yeah, they're getting there. And for the younger ones, they went to school full time right away. They're actually at Nesbitt, and it was okay for them. Like they transitioned really well. Yeah, it's just trying to get that routine started again. It was a pain in the ass, because nobody wanted to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, but now we got our routines. Like everybody's okay with the routine, and starting Monday, the older ones will be in school full time. So no more hybrid for them. They're nervous, but I told them like, just follow the measures, wear your mask all the time, sanitize, and we should be okay, So after starting Monday, I'll be alone at home all day. So I'll be the only one who's gonna be still in online school. Yeah, it's gonna be quiet.
So say we make the montage, we have the video, and then we have all these young Indigenous peeps graduating from high school watching the video that you're talking about. You're speaking of your experience and your perseverance, what would you want to tell them?
I think I would just tell them, like, no matter what you're going through, it's not a big deal, if you fall behind, you can catch up. There's a lot of support there, and the teachers are really friendly. They're very supportive. The staff too, like Charlie and You know, they're really supportive. They support you, they guide you, and like no matter what happens, if something happens during the semester, you know, don't sweat it. It's not a big deal. Like the teachers are very understanding. You know, life happens. Like we have kids, we have responsibilities. Some of us, somewhere along the line, our kids are gonna get sick, and we're gonna have to miss a few classes. And like so far, my classmates have been really helpful. Like we've created like group chats where if somebody is absent, you know, we support each other. We put our notes, like we share notes and whatever assignments that need to be done, like we tell each other what we missed. So it's like a great atmosphere to be in, like even if it's still online, but it's still a really great atmosphere to be in. Everybody's just been so nice, so supportive. Yeah, and I actually can't wait to meet a lot of them. I've only met one of my teachers, and the other ones I haven't met at all. So like I'm really looking forward to actually meeting everybody that I've been in contact with. It's been a great experience, and I would do it over again. Well, actually I am. I'm gonna be coming back in the fall.
So happy to hear that. Yay, we could hang out in the center. I'm so excited. I'm so happy to hear that you're still able to have those friendships, even though we're all online. And they'll for sure be carried on into the fall for sure. We don't let loose. We like, you're stuck with us, you know, kind of thing. Like that's very much, we stick around each other through the thick and thin. Well, Angela, that was an amazing conversation. And thank you so much for allowing us to listen in. That was awesome. You're such a superhero.
Hi, my name is Gracie. I'm from the Kahnawake Reserve, and I go to John Abbott College, and I'm currently studying in my second semester of studying science and social science, the double deck program.
Like the first one I made sure to ask is like, what does a safe space like mean to you? Like, do you know what I mean by like a safe space?
Yeah. Okay. So like to me, a safe space is where I'd feel comfortable, like confident to be myself, like safe physically, like not in danger.
Yeah.
So like right here in my office is like my space that like I'm thankful my grandparents like gave to me, like they made it for me. And so I just have like all my work here. And actually this door we didn't used to be there before, and then my grandpa was nice enough to make it a closed room for me. And then also like of course my bedroom is like a place where I spend a lot of time to like do whatever, and it's where I like to be the most because it's where I feel most comfortable and relaxed.
I get that whole, and I love the idea that like your grandparents like put the thought into the room for you to feel like it's your space to be able to like focus completely. Like, and that's something that I find a lot of the time in CEGIPs and stuff like that is that they don't really put thought or time into it. They just find a space that's free and they're like, okay, you have to use that. But then they don't give us a chance to like put paintings up or like let us put couches in there or like bean bags, you know? And I always thought like going like my first year at CEGIP, like it was cool we had couches in the center, but I was like, it was really plain walls, you know? Like that's changed now because we've advocated for like we should be allowed to like paint our walls. It's like be able to paint our walls and put pictures on our walls and have art pieces up. And we want the CEGIP to buy art pieces from our Indigenous artists that can go in the center, and it made such a personality, you know, and it makes that difference because now it feels homey.
Yeah, well, I haven't really been able to establish that at CEGIP so far because I haven't actually seen the resource center at Jack. So I don't know what it looks like. So I can't really comment on that, but So like I haven't been there many times. The only times I go there are for like stressful moments. It's like for tests, exams, or doing labs or stuff like that. So I don't know, it's not the best environment right now. So yeah, but like on my during my meetings, like I'm in SUJAC, like the student union. So like getting to know them has been pretty good. And I even online getting to know them has been good. So I can feel like I'm friends with some of them and feel comfortable with them. Like I've seen them on campus, like once I volunteered, there was like an event for first year students, and it was like nice to see them for the first time and actually talk in person. So that was nice.
But yeah, that's like such a good answer coming from you, because that actually was the next question that I was going to ask you was like, you like having graduated high school and then your first semester was inside like virtual, like it was in a pandemic, like, and then you've answered it, is like, how has that affected, you know, like your energy when you like enter, like you haven't even had the chance to go into the resource center, you know, but all the feelings that you've had while you've been at John Abbott was because it's really stressful. And
Yeah.
like the next thing that I ask is like, what do you think we can do, and the Indigenous Resource Center and like all these teachers that you're meeting and like the SUJAC, you know, all your peers, all the people who are in charge and have the responsibility of making sure that you can feel yourself and comfortable,
Mhm.
you know, and create a safe space for you. How can we do that for you?
Honestly, I think most of them are doing a good job or their best that they can. But like for teachers or like the resource center people, like I don't know them that well. Like I've talked to them like one or two times. So like maybe like personally messaging or getting to know them, like us more than just like the mass emails that they send to all the Indigenous students. And like for example, like some of my teachers, what I thought was like really good that what they did, I wish like more did, was like at the beginning of the semester they'd have like one-on-one meetings where I'd meet with the teacher, and he'd be like for calculus, he was like, okay, like how are your math abilities, like your previous marks, like how do you feel going into this, like is there anything I can do to help you? So like that just was like really nice. Or like he even had like additional meetings like before exams, which like really helped. And what helps too is like I'm in a small program, so like even though we've been online, um it's helped because we see the same names or faces all the time, so we can message each other, and I've like made a few friends that way. But I imagine it can be more difficult for people that are in larger programs that are with different people every class, but I've managed to make a few friends, so that's good.
So good to hear, and I'm really happy that you had a teacher that was so like open-minded and like understanding, like there does need to be like a connection between the student like as an individual and then a student as like a class, because you need to be able to like scope out each individual student's abilities. Like that's how
Yeah.
that's the best way to go about an efficient classroom, you
Yeah.
know, is that you're able to like work around each student with their learning abilities, you know, and it also makes the student feel more comfortable and not just kind of seen as like something to be dealt with, you know, because that is the absolute worst feeling in a classroom. And probably what I think of one of the opposite things of what we describe as a safe space, especially for an Indigenous student, like with our history as just being like swept away and being like neglected. Like
Yeah.
that's what we're trying to avoid now. And what we're trying to like teach teachers that, you know, like we don't want to do that. So
Yeah.
it's nice to hear that your teacher's doing it. I
Yeah.
love you.
Like sometimes though, like not only that class, it's just been like difficult sometimes to reach out for teachers for help, like not really in class, or like sometimes me or my other friends would feel like shy to ask questions in class, or like feel as though we're being a nuisance to like the lesson to like ask a question. Or I just like don't really want to take the energy to go and message a teacher outside of class to ask a question or set up a meeting. Like it would be so much easier to just like walk in their office and ask a question, or like also just like sitting here all day, class after class is super tiring. And then having like a short break and then having to do it all again to do my homework is so difficult.
Yeah, and then like you mentioned something earlier about your bedroom being like one of your safe spaces as well. And I just wanted to like, and this is just like a personal thing too, and I relate to it because like I try and do the least amount of homework in my bedroom because I want to keep that as like a me space, you know. This is like gahinyanta space. This isn't studious overworking gahinyanta space. This is I want to sleep and I want to be able to put my head on the pillow and like forget, you know. I don't want to have to be worrying about an assignment when I step into bed. Like I know it's time for me to chill out, you know. And a lot of the workload that teachers have been giving during this pandemic, you know, it intervenes with a lot of our personal space, like our bedroom, you know, like it even gets to the point where we forget to feed ourselves, you know, like it's like it doesn't seem like such a big thing when it's just like, you know, I got to get homework done, so I'll eat when I'm done my assignment. But like that assignment takes like a while and then you can forget to eat. And that's actually a pretty big deal because that's this homework assignment, the workload is intervening on what you need to do for you. And then that like idea can be copy pasted into like it's adjusting, it's not letting you sleep as much, which is also a really big deal, you know. Like, and then like there are some teachers who have been like very lenient with their deadlines and be like, okay, yeah, it's a difficult time. But then there's a lot of teachers who are like, oh guys, like I hope you're all doing okay in this really horrid time right now. Here's 5 essays to do within the next 2 weeks. Like not helping. So yes. I am happy though that some of your teachers are being a lot more lenient.
I know what you mean about like the bedroom versus like the office moment, because like sometimes I feel like homework time or just like me time mesh together. So like I don't know, like if I'm going to have supper like just downstairs and if I don't immediately come back up here to start doing my homework, I feel as if I'm not being productive and I start like to feel guilty, where like it makes me feel bad sometimes. I know it's okay to like take a break, but I still feel bad sometimes, you know.
The thing is that because this whole project, the whole reason why we like thought of this project and we were actually trying to go through with it is because of how, you know, important it is. I feel like as a student who's gone through the whole CJIP experience, and I wish I had the resources. I had certain resources while I was going through CJIP. And one of them was like just someone, when I walk into a room and I see them, I know like we're good, like it's chill. Or if there's like snacks, like how to just create a better atmosphere, you know. It's like if I have like cookies and like snacks, you know, and stuff like that I can eat, then I'll feel more at home, you know. We're all eating together, it's a great time, it's a symbol, you know. So there's like those physical things that we can do to create a safe space, but then there's also the community, like the conversations that we can have in order to create those safe spaces and make them more efficient, you know, like in a way. So this was the whole idea of like doing a video and then letting, you know, the idea is to have like our younger siblings and our younger cousins to be able to see these and hear our words and then know that there are people who want to have a safe space for them in CJIP, you know, where it's like a majority white community, you know. So just for them to know that there's some Indigenous aunties and uncles with them waiting to hold their hand and then walk them through the CJIP and let them find their path, because it is so difficult. It really is.
Yeah. An example is like I actually really appreciate my humanities teacher this semester. And like I find like not even just my teacher, but my friend's teacher, she's in the reconciliation committee. She's the one that like always talks. I forget her name. But like both our teachers do like really important things, and we've had to like watch documentaries and read texts about like us and other minorities and like the like just all these problems like environmental impacts and stuff like that. And like one thing that he does, my teacher, to create a safe space, I find at not every class, but like at least once a week at the beginning of class, he like takes 3 minutes for us to meditate. And we just like all sit there and he tells us what to do. And he like asks like, how are you feeling today? And most people are like comfortable enough to answer. Like I know when I go to his class that like, because like he knows my name and I felt comfortable enough to turn my camera on, that like he knows my cat. Like I'll show him my cat and he's like, oh, look at Winnie, how is Winnie doing? And it's just like really nice, and a lot of people participate in that class, and it's just like a really like that's just a good class. But then compared to like another class I have, which is like French class, like nobody participates. Like I barely know the teacher, and like I don't really want to participate, and the classes are like so boring. They're super fast, or like she cancels them, and it's just like a really different dynamic that's going on.
Yeah, 100%. And it's definitely like the teacher's approach. And of course, we can't blame the teachers and like the educators completely, because they're going through the pandemic as well. But like it really does affect the way how comfortable we feel and how open we feel, and like how willing we are to learn new things and actually feel them out with that group. Because sometimes, learning these, like, because you mentioned like talking like your humanities class and you're talking about all these environmental issues and all, like you probably mentioned a couple of times about cultural genocide and how like difficult and traumatic it is, and that it's actually traumatic for us to learn about it and to know that it happened to our ancestors. So for the teacher to be able to bring that up in a healthy, sustainable, and progressive manner is amazing. Like that is something that needs to be done with all, like I would love for all classes to be like that, because then the people who take misunderstandings or that like tend to go on like a little bit of the rude side and play devil's advocate right in the class, and like but end up being like, well, there's always that person in the classroom who's going to be like a little more on the conservative or the racist side, right? But then if it's in a safe space, the teacher can properly deal with that, and then actually be open and comfortable to be like, okay, well, why do you think these things? Where do you think they come from? Like, you don't think they're like, it comes from underlying systemic racism. You don't think you've been raised and like nurtured to be, the way that you are. Like, is there another way you could do it better? And I find that like, it's a safe space when you're willing to like accept a lot of the thing, like a lot of hard things. And that's one of the big challenges of a safe space is, can my students learn healthily, whether it's through stuff they have a hard time or that they catch on easily? So it's really good to have a humanities teacher who knows how to like read the room and like work things through. So I think it's Derek, eh? Do you have Derek?
No, his name is Mark.
Mark?
I don't have Derek.
A couple of the Abbott students have said Mark's a good humanities.
Mark McGuire. He's really good.
Yeah.
And like he gives like because our class is documenting myths, so it's just like you watch a bunch of documentaries and then a group presents it each week. And so like this past week it was on one called 13th in Central Park 5. So he was saying how like if you're watching this and you don't feel uncomfortable, like go and take a break, or if this is too much for you, like I could give you an alternative assignment. And then also like it reminded me like my political science class, like I feel like it closely aligns with my humanities class, where what you were mentioning is that like there's this one student in my political science class that is like super sheltered, like conservative, and he just like talks, like replies to everything that my teacher says, but my teacher welcomes it, and it's like an environment to learn, and like he lets him talk, but then he like discusses back with him. Like it was like one time it was like on the topic of like cat calling and like the kid didn't understand why it was wrong, and so like everybody in the chat was like saying stuff, and like he was like, the teacher was like just commenting back like, okay, like thank you for your viewpoint, but like here's this point of view too. So I think like that's good too.
Yeah, not only is it great for the learning environment to have like a leader like that in the classroom, but for him to be setting an example as well for his students to like learn how to properly deal with like different points of view and how to like express it and stuff like that. That's such an important thing to learn from a teacher or like a leader, because that's one thing that like a lot of us don't know how to do because we've just been told to deal with it, you know, especially as Indigenous peoples. Like we've always just had to deal with it, you know. But now we're kind of like, no, we are going to work things through. We're going to analyze everything and we're going to correct what we can. So like very much taking like a good approach to what's around us now. So hence why we want to talk about safe spaces. Okay, well, Gracie, that was an amazing conversation. You said so many good things, so many awesome things. My sister would have loved to hear some of these things because there was a lot of things that my sister's been dealing with.
Afin de conclure cette première mouture du Festival Éducation du futur entièrement virtuel, nous tenons encore une fois à remercier tous nos partenaires pour le soutien financier et pour le soutien apporté tout au long de l'année à nos jeunes.
A big thank you to everyone who was involved in the Youth Fusion projects and events this year. Whether you were a jury member or a mentor, we would like you to know that your generosity was greatly appreciated.
Soulignons également le travail exceptionnel de tous les coordonnateurs et coordonnatrices qui ont su jongler avec des défis logistiques hors du commun cette année. Nous vous disons merci du fond du cœur pour la différence que vous faites dans la vie des jeunes au quotidien.
A huge thank you also to the teachers for your dedication and unfailing commitment to the youth. To those of you who have had the courage, despite the health uncertainties and constant adjustments, to dare to carry out stimulating and different projects for your students. On behalf of Youth Fusion, we salute you and we thank you wholeheartedly. Thank you for your trust. It was an honor to collaborate with you this year, despite the difficult circumstances.
Mille merci également aux gestionnaires de programmes et aux chargés de projet pour leur implication exceptionnelle, leur résilience et leur passion inébranlable.
And of course, we would not end this event without congratulating all the youth who participated in one of our programs this year.
Si vous visionnez ceci en ce moment, c'est que vous avez tous et toutes fait preuve d'une immense persévérance, que vous avez déployé des efforts remarquables et que vous êtes restés engagés tout au long de l'année.
So, it is with great pride that we give you all the School Perseverance Award. You deserve it.
En finissant, nous vous invitons à visiter la galerie virtuelle de Fusion Jeunesse où vous pouvez dès maintenant consulter les projets réalisés par les jeunes de tous les programmes et de toutes les régions confondues, au Canada et en France.
Congratulations once again. Thank you for being with us and see you next year.